Hello everyone, my name is Kari Wolf. I'm from Adobe and I'd like to welcome you to this installment of our Summit Think Tank. We are broadcasting live from the floor of the Venetian in Las Vegas at Adobe's annual Summit User Conference. And as always, we like to take the opportunity to gather together some of the most influential thinkers and leaders and practitioners in the creative and marketing and ad space and have them share their perspective with you. So I would like to introduce my guest today. I am with Ashley Still, the Vice President of Creative Cloud for Enterprise at Adobe. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome, thank you for having me.
This is a great venue for doing interviews like this. You can sort of sense the excitement and the hum of the event.
Absolutely.
The 13,000
so much
people that
energy.
surround us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to talk to you. I really want to focus on design as an enabler to experience. So my first question for you is how good design can help an enterprise deliver exceptional experiences to its customers.
Absolutely. So obviously design is really, we think, the starting point for a great experience. And there's a lot that's changing with design, which is one of the things that makes it so exciting and have so much opportunity for our customers. If you think about design in the traditional sense, it's always been important for the visual look and feel of an experience, the logo, the imagery, when you go to a website or even when you're in store, clearly how the brand represents itself to you is a lot through design and through content. But with the advent and growth of digital, design is about much more than just visual aesthetics. It's really about how an experience works. A mobile app, a website, the design of the interaction is as important, if not more important, than the design of the visuals. And there's actually a whole new field called experience design. And at Adobe, we're actually creating new products to help designers design great experiences. And that's really critical. Like when people are starting to evaluate your mobile experiences as much on the usability and the gestures as the products and services that you're selling, design is really as strategic to a company as data.
That's right.
Yep.
It isn't the vehicle to the experience, it is the experience.
It is the experience. I mean, when you think about what your customers actually experience about an experience, they're actually experiencing the content and the design. The data informs it, but the experience on a website, the experience in a mobile app, and in in-person experiences are a lot about really the design of it.
And that actually leads to my next question. You have said that design is the new intellectual property. It's a way to differentiate.
Absolutely.
Can you explain more about what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So, Coke was on stage yesterday, the chief digital officer and the head of design, and it really struck me. What they said was Coke, for example, has spent a lot of its history really perfecting its product and its distribution. And with experience business being so critical, you have to change what you think as your intellectual property, right? What are the things that you're investing in that's differentiated? Clearly for Coke, distribution is a huge differentiator for the Coca-Cola company. And in an experience era, the design of experiences, again, is going to be as strategic and as much a part of your intellectual property. So how people feel when they're experiencing your brand digitally. And really that's about design. Designers design the experience, and of course it's important to execute those well through Adobe Experience Cloud. So it has to have great design and great execution of that design. And so I think we're going to see companies really invest in design as that strategic differentiation and part of their intellectual property.
I've read recently that Gartner says most organizations plan to differentiate primarily on the basis of customer experience.
Yep.
It's just the new playing field in a world where features can be replicated, prices can be undercut. Experience really is the way you can set yourself apart. Absolutely,
and I think part of the core of that is, and this also comes back to design, one of the core principles of design is empathy and understanding your customer. And I think that's one of the things that's so important about competing on customer experience is it's really about understanding what your customer wants and making sure you deliver that to your customer. And how you do that depends on what your brand is, what your product is, what your industry is. And of course you need a lot of technology. You need personalization capabilities, you need great web capabilities to deliver on that. But at the core, you need to really understand what your customer wants and make sure that everything from design through execution is delivering on that promise.
And it seems to me doing that would require new levels of collaboration in the organization, maybe
Absolutely.
with teams that haven't always worked hand in hand. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the way this new need to embed experience into, or design into the experience rather, has brought creatives and marketing together.
So creative and marketers are working together more and more, and in many respects there are a number of trends that we see. So first, a lot of creative used to be produced out of house. So you would have agencies and they would produce either television or print work for a brand. And so the handoffs between creatives and marketers were often handoffs across different companies. And so there
organizational boundaries,
right? And so they were relatively easy. There would be a creative brief, and marketing would outline their strategies and business goals, and the handoffs were pretty smooth and easy, right? We don't live in that world anymore, right? Just the scale of content production, the types of experiences, and the types of marketing campaigns in this era now is daily, right? You have daily email, daily social, daily web, etc. And so creatives and marketers have to work together every day. And it's opening up a lot of new possibilities. I think it gives creatives an opportunity to understand what works and what doesn't work, and what happens in execution, what customers are actually engaging with, to design better experiences. And I think it gives marketers the opportunity to really understand how design impacts the outcome and impacts the business result. So we see lots of opportunity for creatives and marketers to learn from each other over the coming years.
I love that, and I love the fact that Adobe products are helping to enable that kind of collaboration.
Absolutely, and we're focused a lot on making the handoff smooth, so there's a lot of integrations between Creative Cloud and Experience Cloud so that content and assets can move quickly between teams without having to use email and all of these other forms that really just slow everything down.
Right.
And then the opportunity going forward is really, how do we help with taxonomy? They're very different languages between design and marketing. And so how do we enable creatives and marketers to really speak each other's languages, kind of through our products and learn from each other? And then, of course, how do we enable data for everyone to understand how they can either design or execute the most impactful experience for the customer?
That's great. I think as my final question, I'd like to just ask you what advice you would give to anyone that's looking to make design a core part of their business strategy.
Sure. So first, I think design has lived in different kind of parts of the organization. It's had different levels of strategic importance. I think the first thing you need is a design champion. And that can be many different people. It can be a marketing exec. It could be, of course, a creative leader themselves. But you really need someone to champion design, because for design to really be a strategic part of your business, design has to be involved early. You can't design things at the end. If you really want it to be true intellectual property and a strategic differentiator. So we see companies investing in having champions and, of course, enough design talent that they can actually start at the beginning of the process. And then it's really, as I said before, it's really about understanding your customer and having really good designers and, of course, great marketers that understand the customer and your product or service, what that value proposition is, and how to build a great story. At the end of the day, this is about storytelling that's backed up with authenticity in your products and services. And so it's really about how do you have champions to have design really lead the telling of that story with great execution.
It's fantastic advice. Ashley,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being with us. Everyone, as a reminder, we've been talking with Ashley Still, Vice President of Creative Cloud for Enterprise at Adobe. She's provided some really excellent advice for any of you who are looking to make design a core part of your operating process and your differentiation. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.